Hey everybody, welcome into the Real Family Business, where our family business is helping your family business. Guys, before we get started today, did y'all see the Scotty Scheffler thing at the Open the other day, the interview he gave?
Did I ever?
I did not.
No, I didn't figure you did. It's a golf thing.
Everybody needs to go look that.
So,
go
you know who
YouTube.
Scotty Scheffler is, don't you?
Go
Yes,
YouTube that thing.
he's a golfer.
He's a golfer. He went to the wrong college, but other than that, seemingly a really good guy. So basically, they asked him at this press conference. So the Open over in Europe is one of the 4 majors of the year. He had never won it before, and I believe the question was basically like, hey, how big of a deal is it for you to win this championship? Because he's won the Masters, he's won the PGA Championship, he's won a few of the others, but he's never won this one yet. And he basically goes on a 10-minute rant about basically like wins don't matter. Like what matters is my family, what matters is all these other things in life. And the quote that I thought was interesting was he had just before, the week before, he had won. He actually referenced, he's from Dallas, and he won the Charles Schwab in Dallas, his hometown course, like won his tournament. And he basically was like, wins don't mean anything. He's like, 5 minutes after it's over, the feeling is gone.
That's exactly
He's
right.
like, you know what we did after the Charles Schwab? My sister was there. It was this amazing thing. I won the hometown thing. 5 minutes later, feeling's gone. We say, where do y'all want to go to dinner? Like, it fades away. I think that's a really good start for today's episode, which is the joy is in the journey, celebrating your wins now. Because I think sometimes we get so focused like that. He used that question to kind of make a point. But the idea was like, yeah, we all want to win. We all set these goals. But when you achieve it, it's kind of like you're excited for like 2 minutes. And then it's like, okay, well, there's more important things in life than this, right? And I think that was a really good point in perspective. I've seen a lot of LinkedIn posts about it, which I'm happy about it for him. I think not a lot of people have their head on that straight in terms of pro athletes.
Well, if you think about it, in all sports or any major event, very few people ever actually win it all. Very few.
Absolutely.
Some of the greatest players that have ever played never won a championship.
I mean, y'all played in sports. You've done things competitively.
Sure.
Like the win literally lasts for this long.
But this is a guy who had the mindfulness to, in that moment, as he's putted in on the 18th green, he's got his little 18-month-old son walking around out there. Just the whole crowd. There's thousands of people just mesmerized because even in the joy of that victorious moment of achievement that tens of millions of golfers would give both arms to have a chance to do. Of course, they couldn't play it. They didn't. But you know, in that moment, he was mindful, and I think mindfulness is an important narrative that we should make a point to emphasize as we talk about celebrating your wins now, right? Because I think in family business in particular, we're in a unique situation to do unique things, but also to recognize unique experiences along the way.
You know, but I think, and by the way, he
way.
did win that week by like 7 strokes. Like he crushed everyone else.
If you haven't YouTubed it, you got to go YouTube it.
Yeah, it's like 7 or 8 minutes long. It's fascinating. But I think, and this is a lesson I've learned in my first 6 years of my career. Sometimes you set these big, what you consider like your BHAGs, your big, hairy, audacious goals. But then when you achieve them, you don't really get the feeling that you had when you set it years ago, right? And I've explained this to my wife before. The reason is because when you set a goal 5 years into the future, it feels almost unachievable. It's so big of an idea, right? Like as a kid growing up, like winning the Open would have just probably been a dream that he had. But when you get closer to it and you're a month away from achieving, let's say you're 4 years and 11 months in, you're about to achieve this. Well, you pretty much expect it at that point because you've worked all the way there and you can kind of see it. And then a week before it, guess what? You know it's coming. A day before it, well, you kind of know it's coming. So when you get there, you don't have the same feeling you had 5 years ago. Yeah. You had the feeling you had yesterday, which is, well, I already know what's going to happen at this point, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I think when you do that, what you realize is the joy you're going to get is not from achieving the goal. It's from all of the little things along the way, the bad days, the good days, the projects, the successes. That's what you get the joy out of along the way, is the journey.
This is red meat, but you were first.
No, I was just going to say, think about the athletes or the people that they can't give it up.
Yep.
Okay, and part of it is because I don't think they have enjoyed the journey along the way. It's always been about the next deal, the next close, the next big win.
When you look back, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. And so some, on the other hand, have enjoyed it, win or lose, along the way. Yep. And so I think about our business, and from the early days, some of the small joys looking back, we'd be sitting around the kitchen table having a board meeting, right? Or we'd go out and eat a meal with just a few of us. And then we'd have a Christmas party at the house, and there'd be like, 20 people, 15 people, 10 people, whatever it was. And then you get to where later we'd take everybody, went them to Six Flags, some of the leaders to Disney World, all these things. Those were fun.
Yep.
Very fun. But if we didn't enjoy it at the beginning and then along the way, the middle, the end, when are you going to enjoy it?
Yep.
You wouldn't. And then you wake up and all of a sudden you've been doing this for years or decades.
Yeah, go ahead, Keith.
And you've missed the point if you don't enjoy it along the way.
I mean, this is just red meat for me because I talk about this every single day, literally in the nature of doing what I do. Corporate America drives results. And again, if you're not a good business person, you're not paying attention to results.
That's a given.
But that's a given. But I think the predicates to results, the predicates to success, and I think that gets back into a deeper concept of purpose. I know in our organization, in our family business, there's profound purpose in what we do. There's profound purpose in the people that we do it with. There's profound purpose in the ways in which we deliver how we do what we do. There's so much substance that I think, as at the individual level, when you understand that we have goals, we have aspirations, we're going to achieve because that's who we are. But it's the things that we're doing incrementally along the way to get there. I think that's where you really find the joy and the fulfillment of purpose. Me personally, I believe my purpose on this earth is to bear fruit, and I'm able to weave that purpose into my work, and you do it, and every person on our team, that's what they do. We've got hundreds of people; they're all doing that, and I think when you focus on the predicates to success, the success that then follows suit is that much more substantial.
So I was thinking about as you were talking some of these things, raising.
Sorry.
No. I want to tie into that. Raising kids. How many people don't enjoy raising their children along the way?
A lot.
Too
many.
Sometimes they ruin them through the sports, which I love the sports, but if they're looking at it properly, not just all the time, man, I feel sorry for some of these kids. They literally run them through sports. It's all they do. The poor little kid's miserable, whatever, even if they like it. But enjoy the moments in the sports. Enjoy the fishing. Enjoy the Christmas. Enjoy them sitting in your lap. Enjoy them telling a funny story. Enjoy them dressing up in their dad's boots or whatever. I mean, enjoy the journey along the way, and you won't look back with regret.
That's so true. I think back. That's the free advice I give folks who are expecting their first kids every time. I think I told you that.
I remember
it.
Yep.
I said everybody tells you enjoy your quiet time, go take your wife out to dinner, enjoy the pieces, the solitude and quiet. And people say that jokingly. People aren't really trying to be maniacal or anything, but they're subconsciously sort of like priming the pump for this idea that when this baby shows up, this burden has arrived, and it's like that could not be further from the truth.
Yep.
Nothing rocked my world more. Nothing.
Keith, I'm sitting
becoming a dad.
I'm on the couch the other night and watching an old 1950s Disney movie with my 15-year-old daughter, right, who's an athlete and pretty, and she's got a lot of things going on. But she's spending time with her dad. We're sitting there talking, watching this old movie, and then we'd pause and talk, whatever. I mean, I can't get that back.
No.
That's special, man.
So what we're talking about, though, and it applies to the parenthood too, I think that's a great example, is mindfulness. And if you're not aware of it in business, sometimes you can set those big goals, you can set those yearly goals, and if you're not aware of it, you're not mindful. I know for me, for instance, I had a very big business goal that I wanted to hit by the time I was 27. I'm 27 years old, and I can proudly say that we hit that goal. I really don't care anymore. Like, it was one of those things where I told my wife, like, hey, by the way, we hit that goal. And she's like, you mean the one you've been talking about for 5 years? I was like, yeah, but I don't care about it anymore.
So when you call me at 9 or 10 o'clock at night and I'm watching the old Western or something, I could say it doesn't matter.
You can say it. That doesn't mean I'm going to accept it, but you can say that.
It's still pretty driven.
But what I'm saying within that, though, is I've learned that actually when I look back at those two things, is achieving the goal more, do I get more joy out of the thought of we hit that goal by the time I was 27? Or do I get more joy out of the education program that we built that I remember specifically every moment of creation? I remember the sticky notes on the back of a door outlining classes, how it was going to work. I remember all of that.
I remember it was a filing cabinet and a notebook in the filing cabinet locked in a closet.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Those little moments along the way that is really when you look back the fun parts of it. But in the moment, you don't see them as the fun parts. You see them as the work. And I think you have to be mindful of it. Just like with kids, you have to be mindful, even on those days where it feels like a lot of work, that this is part of the fun. And you have to look at it that way.
It's like, what's the slogan, the little sign, I think it's in my wife's closet, that one day, it was about the small things. One day you realize that the small things were really the big things.
Yep, absolutely.
That's pretty much, yeah.
So when you think about it, the first question I think I have on this topic today is, are we saying don't set goals?
No, of course not. You have to set goals.
So how do you balance these ideas of, well, we set goals, but we don't, you have to, how do you balance those two ideas?
You go first.
Well, your goals, first of all, are simply dreams put on paper. If you don't put them on paper or you don't write them down, they're just a dream. Absolutely. A goal is something I plan to accomplish, and here's how. Yes. Specifics are given, okay? Criteria, measurements that you can see day to day, week to week, month to month, if you're tracking toward the goal. What we're talking about, I think, is as you're doing that, don't miss the moments that make that happen.
Yes.
And don't miss miss the forest for the trees, as they always say. Don't miss the forest for the trees. And so if all you do is get caught up on the number, you've already lost. If it's the number only.
But let me draw it back to small business, right? To family business. Again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to restate what I said earlier, but I'm going to finish the statement. Corporate drives results, but corporate is wildly inconsistent in the predicates to success. To me, when you're empowered as an individual, whether as a part of a family-owned business or a small business, to do the right thing, Rodel rule number 12, do right, period. I love that rule, because when you're in an environment where that is the priority, do right 11 times out of 10, and nowhere is that more true than in an insurance like we're in with insurance, where everybody needs it, but most professionals who are out there trying to sell something, we're sitting here trying to offer the most meaningful, impactful solution. Yes, we're going to hit the goals. We've got big goals, but we're going to hit our goals by doing the right thing. It's like, if you're not obsessed with making money, you're focused on doing the right thing, the money will take care of itself.
Absolutely.
And that is true in so many realms of life, and I think that's especially true. Part of why I think so many people would want to get into this family business environment if they could, but they don't know where, they don't know how, they don't know what, which is a whole different commentary.
How do you walk a mile?
One step at a time.
That's it.
When you think about it, I think those things are interesting, because we're not saying don't set goals.
Correct.
In fact, we're actually saying the opposite of that, which is you need to have goals so you're going in the right direction, but every step along the way, the steps in that mile, be mindful of it, and be mindful of where you're at, and be mindful of the joy of the moment where you're at, because next thing you know, you're going to hit that goal. And guess what? Life doesn't get better. It just changes. You have different problems. You have different opportunities. You have different challenges.
I say it all the time. Put the emphasis on the right syllable.
Absolutely. My favorite quote, you know what my favorite quote is out of all of them. Favorite quote.
I can't
Walt Disney. It's kind of fun to do the impossible.
Yeah.
When you think about your business, you need to have goals, because people all the time, what do they say? I need to see it to believe it. But the problem is, if you don't believe it first, you're never going to see it. And so as the owner of a business, as the leader of a business, it is your job to set these goals, to set these, big, hairy, audacious goals, build that future of what it's going to look like. But along the way, you can't forget to be mindful and have your team be mindful.
Lean into the journey.
You know what? That's one thing that this year, I'm really bad about this. I'm bad about knock something out, move on to the next thing. And as the president of the company, I've actually made it more of an emphasis on myself to say, every once in a while, I'll just text one of you guys and say, hey, did y'all notice that thing that we got knocked out yesterday? Do you feel the momentum we're building? Do you see the camaraderie? Those are the little wins along the way. Like, I'm not good at it, but one of the things that I do, and as we get to some of the practical, like, how do you do this? How are you more mindful? The thing that's helped me the most is I have it's not a journal, but every week it's an accountability book. And it keeps me accountable. But the thing that I like about it is at the end of the week, there's a week, basically a weekly recap. I have to write down every week 3 wins of the week. What are 3 successful things that have happened? And it's funny because I can look back 2 quarters ago and I'm like, you know how much my life has changed in 6 months? I don't even feel it anymore or remember it. But in the moment, that was a huge win for me. And now I don't even remember it. Being mindful of the moment and just doing that, write 3 wins down every week. It's huge, because in the moment, it feels little. When you look back, it feels big, but you have those moments captured.
But I think somewhere along the way, you start to figure out, it's like any other habit. You start to figure out, wait a minute, I put the emphasis on this, on the process.
Yep.
really enjoying the process, enjoying the people, enjoying enjoying the impacts, the incremental small impacts along the way. And by the way, we just stumbled into this big goal, but we weren't even thinking about the goal.
I start smiling now in meetings when everybody starts like, we'll start arguing and fighting in a positive way. We're working towards a solution. I start smiling because I can feel everybody being frustrated about it. I have this vision in my mind. Honestly, we're working towards it, and I'm smiling now, thinking this is part of the journey. This is part of the fun. Like, we have to do this to get where we're going to go.
Which also shows that they care.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they wouldn't make comments.
That's right.
But I think about Benjamin Franklin. He said, "Do not squander time, for it is the stuff that life is made of." Yep. Now, think about that at work. If you're working hard and you're really putting the time in, you're going to have the moment to then go to watch your kid play ball.
That's right.
Okay, because you're not being lazy at work. Yep. And guess what you can do? You can enjoy both.
Yep.
You can enjoy when you're working, and you can enjoy when you're at the game, not have to check your phone every 30 seconds because you did the work to get there to have that hour, 2 hours of time. So the focus really on what you do at work and the focus that you have at home, it all kind of ties together to this journey, if you will.
But how do y'all do it? So for me, I write those things down every week, and over the last 18, 19 months, it's been something that's turned into a habit at this point for me. I feel like I need to write down my 3 wins of the week. What is it for you guys that y'all do to help you celebrate the little things along the way? Y'all have achieved a lot of goals over the years.
Well, for me, it's all really wrapped up in a pattern or a cycle for me, because I take pride in what I do. I take tremendous pride in what I do, because it comes down to sequencing my priorities, and so I have my personal private priorities, and I've got my professional objectives, and I weave those things into each other. I know that what I'm doing is bearing fruit for others. That in terms of sharing the good news of what we're doing here as an organization. But then I also know that personally, when I get home, get up from the dinner table and go to hop on a video conference call because I need to sit down and talk to somebody that are only available after hours. My kids see me doing that, so I know that I'm leading by example to them. But I know that I'm also bearing fruit with my life and what I'm doing and how I'm investing my time. I believe in the purpose of what we're doing collectively as a family business. So for me, I have learned through experience, having done that in an environment in corporate where the priorities are not on, what do we say at Rollo Insurance all the time? It's God, family, country. Those are our organizational priorities. And I say that all the time, right? Because, we want to honor God, take care of our families and do so in a country that lets us keep 1 and 2, 1 and 2. If there were a fourth thing on that list, it would be stewardship, right? You can't be a bad steward and plan to stay in business for a long time. But being able to weave that into who I am, into what I do, be the same person in private that I am in public. To me, that it's just it doesn't stop.
But how do you remember the little things along the way? What is it for you that's like? Do you find yourself trying to think of those more often?
No, I mean, I literally have just through time and repetition. I am mindful each step of the way.
Yep.
I don't have to keep a list because as I experience it, and maybe that's just a benefit of time and age, right? Yep. But you live long enough and you see enough of the good, then you experience enough of the good, you see what other not good looks like out there, and you're mindful every time you get out of bed and foot hits the ground.
So with me, I'm a visual person. So I don't know if it's a snapshot of my mind or a picture, but there's certain things I can see, little moments in time, if you will, that I see in my mind. Maybe it's I read pictures. I mean, there's a picture of Jenna when she's a little girl. I'm trying to think. She's a senior this year in high school, but Jenna is maybe 5 to 7. And there's a flower, and she's smelling of the flower. It's in our kitchen now, and it's been there for a long time. But one day I just looked at it. I'm staring at that picture, and the one thing that caught my attention was she's got her nose on the flower, and she's smelling, but her eyes are open, not closed. And I'm looking at that. Wow, she's taking it all in with her eyes wide open. So I try to live my life that way. I don't always do it, but through reading, through experiences, I try to just, when I see a scene, I put that in my mind, and it becomes something kind of stamped on my soul, if you will, I guess. Yeah. And so that's how I tend to do that. And then I think sometimes if you get your head down too much as opposed to looking up, just general friendliness, for one thing, will open your eyes.
I'm going to go somewhere off that, but I know Keith has thought.
I just think perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, I think perspective, it backlights what you're talking about. You're able to enjoy the little things when you've been at a time or a place in life where you couldn't as much as you wanted to. I think, I know it's true in my office. I've got probably 20 pictures of my family around my desk, right? You do too. I mean, we all do, because who we are is what we do is who we are, who we're doing it for, who we're doing it with. It all jives. So I think as you get older, as you realize you've got more life behind you than you have ahead of you in terms of years, I think life, if you're living life the right way, I think with every year that passes, you become more mindful of that.
I was thinking about it because I think I've always had this rule, mainly since I took over as president of the company, where any meeting that I go into or anything that I do, I will not end it on time if we run over. Like, I will not do it. I'm bad about it because I'm late to a lot of meetings because of this. But when I'm in a meeting with somebody, like, they're going to get my 100% authentic attention and focus. It's just going to happen. I've always tried to do that. And as I think about celebrating the wins along the way and the mindfulness that does come with experience, it's funny because now I've always been there, been 100% present with them, but now I'm trying to find little things to celebrate with anybody I'm talking to along the way. Those little moments, like you said, eyes wide open. And I think, honestly, just a certain level of genuineness where you understand the big picture of what's happening. Like, hey, this is a huge step, or this is a huge opportunity and a problem that we got to overcome along the way to our big goal. But I'm going to enjoy where we're at, because before long, we're going to solve this problem. And I'm probably going to wish we were still trying to fix it, because fixing that problem ended up being really fun. And I'm going to wish for it, but we're going to be dealing with something else that's a lot harder. And I'm at that moment, I don't want to deal with it. You just have to be mindful. But I think the genuineness in the moment allows you to celebrate wins with other people. And you start celebrating wins with other people enough, they reciprocate it to us. And I know that's fun. We do that as a group now once a week.
We have to close, I know, for the time, but it reminded me of a story. Michael Dell Computers, supposedly was asked when he was giving a speech to a college, and someone asked him, said, "Why are you doing this? You're a billionaire. You run $1 billion company. I don't know how big it is now." Anyway, and supposedly what he said was, "Do you know how fun it is to run $1 billion company?" And so I think what you're saying is the fun is not just in hitting the goals, though that is fun.
Absolutely.
Yes,
The fun is in getting there and building something.
Yes.
And I think if you keep that in mind, you enjoy the journey along the way, whether it's your family or whether it's your business.
Absolutely. Hey guys, thank you for joining us on another episode of The Real Family Business. Make sure that you're enjoying every step of your family's journey and your business along the way. Check us out, rolloinsurance.com, as well as our YouTube page for more episodes of The Real Family Business. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to chat with you and see other ways we can help you grow your family business. We'll see you back next time.